Let's talk about what happens when you're so focused on getting enough calories and protein that you completely ignore micronutrients, because this is where budget nutrition often fails catastrophically, leading to health problems that become expensive to treat. The trap is straightforward. Rice and beans provide calories and protein efficiently and cheaply, but they're relatively poor in several critical vitamins and minerals. If your diet is primarily starches and legumes without strategic micronutrient sources, you risk deficiencies in vitamin B12, vitamin D, omega 3s, iron, and calcium. These deficiencies develop slowly, often taking months or years to become symptomatic, but the health consequences are serious. Vitamin B12 is only found naturally in animal products. Deficiency causes fatigue, cognitive problems, and nerve damage. If you're eating eggs, dairy, or fish regularly, you're probably fine. If you're relying primarily on plant foods, you need supplementation. A year's supply of B12 supplements costs about $10. This is non-negotiable for primarily plant-based diets. Vitamin D is difficult to obtain from food regardless of budget. Fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy provide some, but most people need supplementation, especially in winter or if you're not getting significant sun exposure. Deficiency is linked to depression, immune dysfunction, and bone problems. Supplementation costs about $12 annually for adequate dosing. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, are primarily found in fish. You can convert plant-based ALA from sources like flaxseed, but the conversion rate is poor, maybe 5 to 10%. If you're not eating fish twice weekly, you're likely deficient. Canned sardines or mackerel twice weekly costs about $8 monthly and prevents deficiency while supporting cardiovascular and brain health. Iron from plant sources is non-heme iron, which is absorbed less efficiently than heme iron from meat. Women of reproductive age are particularly at risk. The solution is combining plant iron sources with vitamin C to increase absorption. Beans with tomatoes, lentils with bell peppers, spinach with citrus. This is essentially free if you're already buying these foods, but you need to understand the pairing. Calcium is tricky on a budget if you're not consuming dairy. Fortified plant milks are expensive. Cheaper sources include canned sardines with bones, tofu processed with calcium sulfate, and leafy greens like kale and collards. The greens require large volumes, though. A serving of kale provides maybe 100 milligrams calcium. You need about 1,000 milligrams daily. Dairy is honestly the most cost-effective calcium source if you can tolerate it. Here's a realistic weekly template ensuring micronutrient adequacy: daily eggs for B12 and vitamin D, twice weekly fish for omega 3s. Vitamin C source with each meal to enhance iron absorption. Daily serving of leafy greens for folate, vitamin K, and minerals. Iodized salt for iodine. Occasional liver for vitamin A and iron, which is extremely nutrient-dense and cheap but off-putting to many people. The bioavailability issue is critical. You can eat foods containing nutrients, but if your body can't absorb them, they're useless. Fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K require fat in the meal for absorption. Eating carrots without fat means you're not absorbing the beta-carotene. Iron absorption improves with vitamin C and decreases with calcium and T. Phytic acid in beans and grains binds minerals, reducing absorption unless you soak and cook properly. Strategic supplementation makes sense when food sources are prohibitively expensive. Vitamin D supplements are far cheaper than eating enough fatty fish to meet needs. Same with B12 if you're not eating animal products. A basic multivitamin costs about $15 for a year's supply and provides insurance against gaps, though whole foods are always preferable when affordable. Blood work is valuable for identifying personal deficiencies rather than guessing. Many health departments offer low-cost testing. Knowing your actual vitamin D level, B12 level, iron status, and so on lets you target interventions rather than supplementing blindly. What concerns me most is people developing scurvy, pellagra, or beriberi in 2026 because they're eating only rice and ramen. These are diseases of severe malnutrition that we've essentially eliminated in developed countries, but they can resurface when people eat calorically adequate but nutritionally empty diets for extended periods. The psychological component matters. Micronutrient deficiencies often present as fatigue, brain fog, depression, and anxiety. People assume they're stressed, and they are, but the stress is worsened by nutritional deficiencies, creating physiological dysfunction. Addressing the deficiencies often improves stress resilience.